up against when you talk about tanks, and they mentioned it on the desk, and specifically LH Cloudy's Reinhardt. Every single time we see him on control, he plays this dive heart composition. We're not too fearful of the shield. We're just going to put that one down, let the hammer swing, and let the hammer do the talking. That's more often than not the game plan from Team Gigantti. Hurricane, however, they like their dive. They like to get on the backline. They like Craggy being pocketed. If he can get on to the backline, the support duo of Team Gigantti, they're going to have a lot to deal with, and it's going to be very troublesome for them.
And sometimes I wonder if LH Cloudy actually has the shield key bound to his mouse anymore. Maybe he's just also rebound. He's bound both of them to hammer swings.
It's on the other side of the keyboard. It's on his numpad or something.
He doesn't need it. He's a very aggressive boy, but looks as we come out of the gate, it's going to be LH Cloudy on the Winston instead. Usually you can see an Orisa here, but looks like both teams are going to be pretty happy to run dive. On the side of British Hurricane, it's going to be a triple DPS. However, Gigantti, they're going to be a bit more stable in terms of their tank line. RCK coming out on the Diva.
It's going to be a lot of damage to kind of heal up, and with Ripper and Meza being also aggressive up on that sideline, they're going to have to pull back now as Neil does get executed first. Craggy making his way into the back, and he's already found himself a very unhappy Cloudy as he does end up just making the jump. If you clip yourself on those stairs, though, I felt it many a time where you just kind of fall flat, and he would have been able to take care of you. Triple DPS working them out so far. They should be able to cap the point fairly easily. No real contention, although Gigantti comes straight back in, abusing the fact that British Hurricane had to play around the point for the time being, but LH Cloudy, out of sight, out of mind, was out of the way of his supports and ends up getting taken down. Craggy even find the mech on RCK.
Craggy is, however, forced to use his recall. Now he's got Davin inside, so the rest of his team are there. And this is exactly what I wanted to see from Craggy, Jaws. He's playing around with his team. He's staying at the back of Fusions, making sure that when these dives come through, there's more reliable DPS from the Tracer. Not much of a solo operator, and he doesn't need to be because the other DPS are picking up the slack that may be there. But now, Team Gigantti, they need to batten down the hatches and weather the storm, because British Hurricane, they're accruing their percentage. They are brewing up some strong wins, and they're ready to come down upon the side of Team Gigantti.
Craggy's got that bomb as well, and you mentioned it just there. Also, nice bomb actually on the floor. Manages to signal LH Cloudy going back to spawn. He's going to find his way to the back line as well. One Discord Zenyatta isn't going to have a happy time against a Winston and a Tracer on your back line. It's a complete team wipe and a reset from Davin as he jumps off the edge. Fanny Astro will make sure he gets the boot to add another kill to his score.
And give himself a little bit of extra ult charge. He has earned that sound barrier. He's going to be ready to receive nil with a Dragon Blade. When it comes, I imagine we may well see a little bit of staggering support ultimates here. Funny Astro may try to counter Davin's Pulse Bomb here with that sound barrier. It's very good at mitigating burst damage, whereas you'd be more likely to see the Transcendence.
Transcendence coming out from Bokken. Ripper's going to open up his as well. Craggy's going to be in the front line. A perfectly layered support ult gives them so much HP to work with. This sound barrier hit the floor as well. Ripper pays the price, and they are just cutting through them. RCK loses his mech, even Kib finishing him off as soon as he ejects out of it. Craggy playing up against their spawn doors right now. He knows he's got another pulse bomb. Another complete team wipe from British Hurricane. Gigantti, they need to show up, and they need to show up fast. 90% now for Hurricane.
Shades of August and hungry, but Craggy using that health pack to his advantage. He's being a bit of a distraction here. Team Gigantti need to get all of their... Oh, okay! LH Cloudy coming in with a primal rage, but Davin's going to be the one to open it up.
Neil died to a Funny Astro of all people as he was using that Dragon Blade. The bomb does miss from Craggy, and the beat's been dropped by Team Gigantti. All 5 members have been hit, but RCK gets instantly ejected from the mech. Instant self-destruct, though, will make sure he's able to re-get back in it. LH Cloudy, meanwhile, kills off KYB, who was in the back lines. Couldn't really do all too much, not without his supports helping him. Happy Cool manages to take out Ripper in the end, but a complete reset here. 99% and going into overtime. Team Gigantti finally find control.
Cloudy was finding himself low on the point, but managed to disengage quite effectively there. No one managed to pick him up. He used his shield very intelligently, and that means Team Gigantti have got the flip. But now absolute perfection is demanded from the Finnish side. British Hurricane have the time. They can be rather slow about this. They can build themselves up an ult bank and force Team Gigantti to use their ultimates to win every single fight, because they don't have any margin for error.
Uh-oh, Bokken and Ripper. I mean, Bokken and Craggy, sorry. Tracer and Zen end up biting the dust. Kib is going to be able to back out. Does have a blade to his name, though. And something we speak about LH Cloudy, as he did remind me as he popped up on the kill feed there, the only one actually to go down in that engagement from Gigantti is his Reinhardt is also spectacular, but Winston has been rather lackluster over the last couple of weeks, especially in these dive compositions. Sometimes puts himself out of sight of his supports, and it's very hard for the Lucio to heal him. Even the Zenyatta, he doesn't have that orb on him. They're going to break it down, or at least Hurricane will. Won't land onto Craggy, so he's going to have to be a little bit more careful. Funny Astro actually boots LH Cloudy after he used the jump. Transcendence to keep them all up and coming for the time being, but Bokken actually got pushed into the point as well. Does take a nice dunk as that Transcendence didn't work out too well for him, but overtime is still ticking down. 99%. Kib finishes up with the Dragon Blade. They're going to be able to touch, but not for long. It should be Hurricane securing Temple.
Great understanding of the ultimates available to Team Gigantti there. They knew that Ripper would pop the Transcendence instinctively when he was faced with Hafikor's Tank Visor. He had such a great shooting range there that it was forced out, and then once that was out of the way, Kib, he smelled the blood in the water, Jaws. He drew out his blade, and he cut Team Gigantti into some finished sushi.
Well, that Sanctum will go over for the first map point for British Hurricane, and now Gigantti have their opportunity to play this triple tank or play around Reinhardt's shield. LH Cloudy, he has to kind of stick on this, I feel. They are very, very good at playing around his aggression, and comboed with Davin Zaya is also a very scary prospect. We're seeing week after week after week a lot of the Korean Contenders teams running this Junkrat or running the Reaper on the when you're holding the point. It's so hard to breach that, and that's exactly what they've gone with. Fusions, though, he's hopping on a Reinhardt of his own.
Yeah, we know Cloudy is a master of the swing, but it's time for Fusions to step up to the plate, and already he's falling so low. He's going to need to save some shield strength, but he's been thrown away. The rest of his team isn't going to have the protection now as LH Cloudy secured the high ground for his team. Nil's going to be able to, with no threats, rain down these bombs.
Craggy is very, very high charge, though. The shield is actually going to break from LH Cloudy, but Fusion's pays the price already. RCK just ran straight into him. Craggy's trying to do all the work he can, but his team is just falling around him right now. RCK wants to get out of the way ASAP, because that Coalescence and the beam from Craggy will find him in a very awkward situation. Riptide came out from Nil, but Happycool was able to dispatch it for the time being. Craggy being so aggressive, though. Davin already built himself up a grab.
That's an incredibly fast ult charge, and there it is, straight away.
He's going to throw straight in. The Coalescence going to land on top of him as well. It's all down to Davin to break that shield. The self-destruct's going to do him for him, but they don't find any kills just yet. That Coalescence and grab being used in Kib. In fact, it's going to find the back line. Ripper and Mezzo already fall, and that is Hurricane beating their way onto the point.
Cloudy desperately trying his best to trade his life for percentage points, and now there's going to be a nasty stagger onto RCK. He wants to try and get off the back, but Hafical with a perfect, absolutely fantastic body block that's going to mean a few extra percentage points for British Hurricane before Team Gigantti can even move in again. Once again, Davin is going to be forced to rebuild that Graviton from scratch because it was put into the last fight. Of course, LH Cloudy, I feel he didn't have as much effect in that as he wanted to. He should have been able to charge Fusions out of the Graviton so that RCK could have got a better combination, and that shield wasn't there to protect them. Alas, that was not the case, and now Fusions is ready to match the... Oh.
Well, there's the grab. Self-destruct's going to send in as well. The hammer does hit the floor, but it doesn't matter. Happy Cool finds the 4-piece. Ends up getting the mech of RCK, and he's finished off with a Flame Strike. 2 ultimates used in that engagement. They still have that shatter available to them. LH Cloudy tried to make something work there, but it was already too little, too late.
Of course, LH Cloudy, he did know that you can halt the progress of a bomb as it's moving with the Earth Shatter, but unfortunately it was a little bit too late, and of course, because he was Earth Shattering, he couldn't shield the remainder of his team. I don't know if he could have saved anyone from that due to the angles, but look at this. British Hurricane moving so far forward, they're forcing Team Gigantti to pay for every single meter they take forward. And of course, the more that they have to sort of be trepidatious and cautious about moving in, the more that British Hurricane can accrue in terms of percentage here. And now, Team Gigantti, they've got 2 support ultimates at their back. They're going to be able to stay in this fight for a long time. But Kib, he's got the burst damage. He doesn't really need to worry about it. He's got the tire and it's ready to go. There it comes.
Oh, Kib, he's got that tire again. Can he find the back line? They're all in one space. He throws it straight in and gets a triple. The 3K for Kib. Oh dear.
You thought explosions were your ally.
That was painful to watch, because this composition likes to move together with the Spooey Booster Lucio. It's so easy for Riptides to end like this. They're on 95%. They might just secure Nepal here.
It's crunch time for Team Gigantti. Ripper's the only one with an ultimate. The Coalescence is already coming in, but no one is on the point, and it will be British Hurricane running away with it 2-0 on Nepal.
Oh boy, just the stagger of ults, the ability to recognize how many ults to actually use in a single fight. Hurricane come out swinging out the gate this week around. Last week, they looked a little bit shaken, got 4-0'd in fact. But Team Gigantti, they're looking rather on the soft side.
Well, maybe they got 4-0'd because they just had so much prep time ready for Gigantti. Looks like it's certainly paying off if that is the case. Oh, that was quite a dominant performance, but now it is Team Gigantti's map choice as we move into Hybrid.
Yeah, Hybrid's an interesting one because it's going to be Numbani or Hollywood. And Hollywood British Hurricane love to run Funny Astro on this map. So I want to know if they're actually going to stick with that map choice and actually run with it, or, which is their preferable choice right now, is Numbani and actually have Bokken on the support instead this time around with Crusade. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see. There's a lot of variation in British Hurricane strategy, and there's a lot of tools in their toolbox right now that they can whip out. We'll have to see what Gigantti are going to have to respond with it. We're going to jump into a quick break, guys. We'll be back to map number 2 coming up soon. Hey guys, welcome back. Hurricane versus Gigantti. Map number 2 is coming to your screens very shortly. Numbani or Hollywood, we'll find out that in a moment. We just saw a rather convincing victory on Nepal from Hurricane.
And of course, it was incredibly surprising because we saw Fusions going up against LH Cloudy, and usually we would put that ball in LH Cloudy's court so that he could swing at it forever and just do so much damage. But no, it was the remainder of British Hurricane really supporting Fusions well, even when Fusions went low. Perhaps a little bit of a misplay. We got a concussion mine and thrown all the way out of this, the damage of Team Gigantti, so they couldn't finish off that kill. LH Cloudy was not so lucky. Craggy managed to hunt him down when he was low.
Well, we're going to go on to Numbani. That's going to be map number 2 and the hybrid map of choice for Team Gigantti. Now we'll see. And British Hurricane don't normally run Funny Astro on the without it being Hollywood, so we probably won't see him on Numbani. This time around, it will obviously be Crusade and mixed with Bokken. However, Gigantti deciding, well, no, attack's going to be for us, and British Hurricane, they're going to go on the defense to start off with. British Hurricane, they like to hold Kib on this high ground with Bokken on the Ana. That's the composition they've been running most of the time, and then pseudo dive with Craggy, Happy-Cool, and Fusions. Works out more often than not. Crusade's a fantastic peeling tool as well for Bokken.
Yeah, Crusade is a great peeling tool, and this may be one of the reasons why they're running the rather rare Lucio-Ana combination here on the supportive defense. Because usually you see a main healer like an Ana, like a Moira, like a Mercy, coupled with a Zenyatta up top, because Zenyatta can feel free to rain down the orb so long as he's not dislodged by a dive. However, Team Gigantti, they know that they're going to run a dive. They could have ran potentially a Reinhardt, went through the maybe small health pack room and moved on to a point behind a Reinhardt shield. But I imagine we are going to see them try and post up where we see Fusions right now. They're just going to have a little bit of recon, we're going to have a bit of scouting, figure out where Kib is, figure out where all the threats are, and then move on those thereafter.
What did Gigantti run here in that case then? Because British Hurricane do, like I mentioned before, they are very synonymous with running this exact composition with Crusade on the Lucio, on the defense. Now, they run something like a Pharah here. You've got to be kind of careful of Kib, but there is so much elevation that you can get. But the thing is, you've got to have Davin on this Tracer. He can't quite match up to Craggy or what we've seen thus far, but he can be a mean Tracer when he can actually get his work done.
And Crusade here is going to be a huge pain to both LH Cloudy, RCK, and Nil once they come up when he brings out that boop, that's less of a problem for a Farah, because you're just going to be staying in there and you can maintain constant sight lines to Kib if you are so inclined. Already Kib getting a little bit of ultimate percentage, a little bit of scouting here for remainder of Team Gigantti. We're going to be setting up, we're going to be gathering information. It's all about intel right now and straight in with the speed boost.
Oh, big boop as well. They're going to fall down to the high ground as per. Neil is actually going to jump straight onto the point on that Genji. So now it's up to Kib and Crusade to push their way onto this point with the help of Hafikul. Neil is going fairly low, but should be all right. Although the mech from RCK is definitely not, as Hafikul does manage to dislodge him. Neil going extremely low as well, has to dash away to cover. They're going to get completely chased up here as well. Did jump onto the big health pack, but it wasn't enough healing at all, and Neil just gets executed. A quick reset from RCK. First push, already gone down. Hurricane holding strong.
Great positional play there from Craggy and Hafikul. We saw that LH Cloudy, they forced him to disengage, go towards that big health pack, but they were waiting there and he decided he couldn't take that particular health pack without dying, so we had to continue disengaging, go all the way back, although he didn't die. However, Kib, ooh, he's already going to be down, courtesy of Rip for a long-range volley there, ending his life. A tick has already been accrued for Team Gigantti, we only need 2 more.
That is a very nasty pick. You don't have that bionic field, although Craggy's going to take out Ripper, but Davin instantly traced that one back with a pulse bomb onto Bok 1. They're going to be able to sit on this point. That pulse bomb is ready to unleash from Craggy. He's playing rather safe. They might just be able to, they might have to just give up another tick here. Craggy does sound out the pulse bomb, doesn't quite get the flick of the wrist and the stick onto LH Cloudy. Davin pays him the price as well. And that will be the objective, going straight over to Gigantti. Now they'll escort it through the streets. But Davin being rather cautious here. They don't want to push up too far. They've got some late spawners, so they have to wait till they actually get back to the car.
British Hurricane. Bocket going to be sticking on Vian, a little bit of a rarity here. However, he does have the nano boost to bring out. I wonder if we're going to see that go onto Fusions or go onto Kib. My theory here, they're going to send in Fusions to go for a really deep dive, try and force the support out of either Ripper or Master. You can go super deep, see has a Primal Rage, an extra 1000 HP buffer to stop him from dying, and he's going straight to the back. You can see him now, here comes Hafikul to support him.
Jumping straight in, activates that Primal Rage as well. Kib's ready to unleash the Tactical Visor, but they decide against it for the time being. A wealth of ultimates on Team Gigantti's side. They're looking at an entirety of theirs, in fact. Hafikul gets demeched straight away from that pulse bomb from Davin, still with 5 in the bank available. Hurricane's actually forced to use that sound barrier, and Nano Boost not yet brought out. He can't quite find the sleep dart. He's just trying to heal Kib for the time being, who's just get beaten around. There's the visor actually knocked up into the high ground by LH Cloudy, and Kib is just raining death from above. No one can really stop him. LH Cloudy forced to disengage here. They still have the ultimate economy advantage, but 2 support ults can't really be contested right now, as Kib is just pummeling them from the front, and they don't have the man advantage.
Ripper and Master there are apparently on a different wavelength from Mill, who threw himself into that nano visor and got cut down, whereas Ripper and Master were like, okay, we have a position here where we can just disengage, we can LOS this, and we don't have to spend either of our support ultimates. Now they've got them both ready for the next fight. British Hurricane, they're running on empty.
Well, they're going to jump the beat straight in first, and Neil actually opens up with the blade. He finds his way to the back line, slashing as he must, but he doesn't actually get anybody. A little bit of damage onto the Diva mech, but I can only assume that was Crusade with a boop to just try and get him out of range. He's been so good, like we were mentioning, this defensive support so good at peeling. Craggy's on the cart, still contesting. Davin's meanwhile cleaning up the rest of the team, and Ripper again finds the kill onto Craggy.
Crusade thinking better of it to go in and contest area. He's going to hop it back to spawn and regroup with the remainder of his team. Bocket, however, is going to stick on Viana. He's going to make the most. Nope, there is the swap over to the Zingyard. He's going to forgo that 70% charge towards the nano boost, and himself and Kib are going to be at the back. They're going to be taking advantage of these long sight lines, staying rather safe. However, it's going to be Fusions and Hafikul moving forward with Craggy. They want to try and keep this contested as early as possible, so they've got as much room to play with as they can have.
Look how aggressive Craggy's being, by the way. He's so low as well. That was extremely close. Trying to build out a pulse bomb. Gets a bit of AoE damage, but not much else. RCK actually forced into this tight corridor to activate the self-destruct. Bokken actually does manage to find Davin in the somewhere middle of all of the chaos. They are just pushing forward, sitting on the cart, so again, it is completely contested, so no distance can be accrued here by Team Gigantti. They're happy to just disengage for the time being. Kib has got that tactical visor. They have that sound barrier available to them as well. Should be their next fight, as only the sound barrier is really close for Gigantti.
British Hurricane making great use of the distance available to them there. Team Gigantti, they managed to throw in 3 ults but gain nothing from it. And now it's always the cart being in contestation.
There we go, Kib opening up with the tactical visor, making sure everybody runs in that very short corridor. Ripper pays with his life, and everybody else is just going to get cleaned up by Fusions. Just batting them around like ping pong balls. He's a champion at that, and British Hurricane end up holding for the time being, and they still have 2. Although, actually saying that, 3 ults to work with as Transcendence does appear.
Winston, champion of both peanut butter and ping pong. Little did I know. Fusion's batting everyone around and showing them who the true wrestling lord is. Jeff, eat your hearts out. However, Masar, he has that sound barrier. He's ready to combine it with Neil's sound barrier, Neil's Dragon Blade again. They're going to use them both at the same time, potentially, but no, they're going to use it to force out both of the support ultimates from British Hurricane.
Instant Transcendence as Neil dashed straight into him. He was just cautious of the blade. Both support ults now down. Self-destruct does get chucked straight on top of the cart. Doesn't quite find anybody, make sure they all scatter for the time being. Kib takes the time to actually take LH Cloudy and claim RCK's mech for his trophy cabinet. Hurricane still playing rather far forwards. Craggy just so aggressive on this Tracer. We kind of know him for that. He's just been up and down the leaderboards. He was recently rank 1, playing on the NA server as well. This guy's not afraid of playing with high ping and not afraid of playing that far up in your face either.
And Hurricane needs to play forward here. They need to make sure that Nil is paying for every single meter that he steps forward. He has a blade and it will be uncontested. They're going around the back now. They've got Verizon for support. He's got the blade.
There he is. He's got it straight on top of the tanks, just ready to de-soup, but it doesn't matter what just happened. Kib finds the rocket to his feet and ends up killing Nil. Nil again got a bit of damage on the tanks, but that was it. Craggy ends up taking out Ripper, who's just so far forward. LH Cloudy, he's caught between a rock and the rest of the Savannah. They are just going to have to back off here. There's 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining. Craggy's playing far up. He has that pulse bomb. Will he try and go for a big punish here? He is going to end up using that recall. Doesn't quite want to overextend just yet. RCK has only got that self-destruct. They've got very little to work with, and British Hurricane have got 2 coming up to 3 themselves.
Absolutely. Bucket and Crusade, they both use the rolls at the same time, and now they're both moving up to them as well, but they need to stagger them now. They're looking at a 1 minute 30 time back from Team Gigantti. That's 2 good pushes that can come through. RCK has the self-destruct, but he's not going to want to put it in on his own. Craggy's just going to be skirmishing around here. He's got his eyes on the tanks, but in comes the self-destruct.
Self-destruct doesn't quite pick up any just yet, and Kib finds his way to the back line. Ripper and Meza pay the price. Nil is going to go down as well to the Helix Rockets. They're still dancing around the car. A minute left, however, but only 2 ultimates actually used in that fight. Kib and Fusion's pop theirs, but Bokken and Crusade still have the defensive ults.
Oh, they are very happy boys right now, Jaws. They have 2 ultimates remaining for defensive purposes, and the Transcendence and the Soundbar, if they can layer these correctly, rather than use them both at the same time, this is all British Hurricanes to take. Team Gigantti, they're running on empty. They've only got Master just about coming up to the Soundbar. He needs to turn up the volume. He needs to give everyone a little bit of tinnitus on the side of the Hurricane.
Self-destruct launches in. Bokken already claims a life. Ripper is going to go down. Craggy finds him with that sound barrier, just executing people in the back line. Perfect use, and they've still got the Transcendence as well. Nil forced all the way back to spawn, and look at this stagger on RCK. Nothing really to do but try and bunny hop back to spawn. 20 seconds remaining, the cart's already pushing back.
And now, there is a silver lining for Team Gigantti. They got wiped so quickly that there is time for yet another push, but it's all going to be in overtime now. They have 3 ultimates in the bank. Nil, ready to come out with a blade in just a second as well. He can unsheath it, but he's going up against the Transcendence. They need to force that and clear the path for Nil. The path to victory is clear, but they need to get a move on, Jaws.
They're on the car right now. That pulse bomb finds one of the mechs, but it doesn't really matter. It's healed up instantly. Kib finds Davin already. He's already dead. Pulse bomb not even used. LH Cloudy was going to pull the Primal Rage as well. This is Nil's only chance to get in on the back line. He's instantly discorded. He ends up killing Bokken, but it doesn't matter at all. Crusade ends up finding the kill with just a simple punch. Craggy's still on the car. Team Gigantti with the Transcendence of their own is going to keep everybody alive. Overtime still ticking down, but Hurricane have the spawn advantage and the man advantage. It ticks on through. 2 points and 62 meters for Team Gigantti's attack.
Davin and Craggy. Oh, what a 1v1. But Craggy's really been showing up, and he's doing exactly what I thought he should do. Like I was telling Sam, I think he should have played more with his team, being a more defensive tracer, and we saw him consistently hunting down LH Cloudy, making sure that all those dives are punished. They know that LH Cloudy's Winston isn't quite as strong as his Ryan. He can be caught out of position sometimes, especially if RCK needs to stay at the back to take care of Ripper and Masa. And that's what Craggy really takes advantage of. Now, British Hurricane, they have their chance to bring it back on the offense. But of course, we know that Numbani is one of the toughest points in the game to crack. And Jaws, that's because it's very rare that the attacker and the defender have about equidistant spawns. And that's exactly what you see on Numbani first point. You aren't going to be looking to trade out on the attack anymore, because the defenders will come back just as quickly as you do. You've got to make every kill trade out favorably. You're not going to win on the side of attrition, especially when the defenders can come back straight to the point. And if you want to get onto the high ground as attackers, you've got quite a commute to make.
Well, Team Gigantti doing a little something different to what we saw Hurricane do in the previous round. They're actually running the Sombra. Now, LH Cloudy is going to be hard stuck on this point, just steadfast right in the center of it, just make sure no one can actually contest it. And in fact, he's actually going to hold the high ground, the very classic solo queue strat, if you like, holding that high ground with the Reinhardt shield. Have D.Va send the micro missiles
Big old fire strikes through that doorway.
Oh, yeah. It's beautiful when you get a good 30% after it hits 3 people, but it does look like Davin right now is going to hack this forward health pack. That's going to leave British Hurricane a little bit worse for wear if they do want to use that for cover.
I think the big strategy here is to have LH Cloudy initiate onto where this health pack is. We're going to look for like a Zenyatta or some other rather more vulnerable support that doesn't have ability cooldowns, and have LH Cloudy just drop down on top of him where he's got the additional support of both his healers and that health pack. However, British Hurricane, they're going to be coming out with a quad tank, so if LH Cloudy goes down to Brawl, they're ready to give him a sucker punch.
This quad tank is also deadly. Seems British Hurricane have been working on their quad tank a fair bit. I think it's the first time we're actually seeing this. Triple tank is normally their jam. Straight away, LH Cloudy straight in the front. You see how quick he is as well on the right? Just get amped up. He's straight in there. He doesn't care. Neil's going to find the first kill onto Craggy. They're all forced into this small corridor. Already built up an Earth Shadow. Where does this guy get his percentage from? He doesn't have a shield key.
He's a rowdy boy, and he went straight into the midst of British Hurricane. Craggy there with telling only 11% of his ultimate. Fell incredibly early there. Davin making sure that Fusions couldn't do much. All he could do was swing. That did get him some ult percentage, but not enough. LH Cloudy just went in, swung for the fences, and he hit more than just fences. He hit the entirety of British Hurricane and sat them all down on the floor. Sit down, my son, you may have held us, but it wasn't enough.
That must be pretty satisfying, hitting everybody, right? That sound of just the right heart, just striking people. Ripper does have that coalescence. Speaking of it, it's actually going to use from the high ground here. Big hack onto Happy Cool as well. And Neil's just going to have an absolute field day. Oh, Crusade, he booped him back, but it wasn't enough. Fusion still ends up taking him down. Happy Cool is desuited here as well. As soon as he was hacked, no defense matrix, no issues for Team Gigantti cleaning him up. Another clean defense here, but these are very fast pushes. British Hurricane are really making it worth their time.
And it's perhaps telling that British Hurricane are being taken away so quickly by these pushes from the side of Team Gigantti. LH Cloudy, he doesn't have as much defense as you would think. He doesn't have a Zarya at his back. He doesn't have a second tank apart from the D.Va, and that's only 2 seconds of defensive matrix. So if Fusions is losing out these Reinhardt duels, it must mean that LH Cloudy is really breaking down their comms.
Oh, the EMP, Davin. That was beautiful. RCK sends that suit straight into orbit and picks up a couple for it as well. These wipes are so clean and quick. Kib, I think, didn't go down, or if he did, he went first. But look at the ults now available for British Hurricane. Only one used from Team Gigantti, and LH Cloudy, he's already got another shadow to his name.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Craggy swap over to the Tracer, because he's not really getting anything done on the Zarya. Look, it's only 56% thus far. And his bubbles are being wiped away by Davin coming in with hacks. He can shut down Happy Call as well as they come in. And now look, here we see British Hurricane on the backside of a point now, making sure there's a bit more of a commute for Cloudy to come in and lay down that hammer.
Well, there's the coalescence from Hurricane. This hammer hits the floor, but the return hammer from Fusions. But the coalescence and sound barrier are going to soak up a lot of that damage. Kib goes in for a big hook, and he ends up opening up with the whole hog as well, pushing everybody back. Neil ripped tire, can't quite find him just yet. It's about 50 HP. He's trying to make it work. It actually hits the shield of Fusions. They've still got a tick remaining. Another big EMP stops Fusions from shielding up, but he's still swinging away. Craggy's almost to that Graviton Surge as well. He's managed to actually de-mech RCK. He needs to just fling it out right now. Kib finds the kill onto the baby D.Va, but Neil is still free-firing in this small, tight corridor. Block one, finally killing off Master as well. They're gonna actually reclaim the point here. Craggy saving that Graviton Surge, being very patient with it. That took a few tries, but they finally get there. 3 minutes now to push it through the streets.
Well, Cloudy thought he had British Hurricane's number after so many successful Earth Shadows, but no. Fusions was giving him the old bamboozle, the old switcheroo, and laid down Team Gigantti on the floor. LH Cloudy, he didn't respect the lingering hitbox of the Earth Shadow. He laid down his shield a second too early, and the lingering hitbox hit both himself and the remainder of his team, who were looking to come in and take advantage of the people that were laid down on the floor by Cloudy. And because of that, Ripper and Marta had to use their ults at inconsistent times.
They're already going extremely aggressive. Neil actually built up another Riptide in that engagement. He's sending it sky high. Crusade pays the price. Wraith form coming through for the Moira. She did save her. LH Cloudy going extremely aggressive there. Actually went down first, so look how far back Gigantti are playing now.
Fusions is feeling very low. He's going to have to get a little bit of healing from Pocket here, but they've got so many ults in their bank, and they've almost got 6 as well. Pocket and Crusade, just a little bit more healing will give them the ultimates that they need, but Ripper's ready to facilitate an engagement patient with the Coalescence, and there it is.
There's the Coalescence. Bocket, like you said, has got his available in a couple of seconds too. Craggy actually fires the grab. It hits the back line. It hits 2 members. Self-destruct's going to go in as well. He's going to execute Nil and Massa. They're dead for the time being. Fusions is going to be able to block that self-destruct and block the damage from LH Cloudy. He's got the shatter, but he's going to save it. They know this point is lost. It's still contesting, wasting a couple more seconds, but Hurricane, they managed to touch it regardless.
Damon was all out of shields, all out of hope, and all filled with lead, courtesy of Kib with the scrap gun. Now Crusade, he's saved for Sound Barrier. It's going to be countered by Massa, and this is going to be all about the quick draw. Who's going to be the one who can hold their nerve longest? Usually you want to be the one who's second to bring out the Sound Barrier because it dissipates over time. If you can get a disengagement after, here comes Neil with another Riptire.
They're just too much. Uh-oh, Craggy's 5 HP! You can melee it! Oh, Craggy! Oh no, that was sad to watch. He was trapped in that small room.
Heartbreaking. Hell in the cell.
Oh boy.
But now, Team Gigantti, they have finally stabilized on the defense. Cloudy feeling very happy to just throw out a fire strike there. The remainder of his team don't have to feel too weary about staying in front of a shield. We've got a lot of health to play with. Kib misses his hook, so everyone's feeling a little bit more safe as well. Fusions can lay down the Earth Shadow at a moment's notice, but so can Cloudy.
Here we go, grand bait. Oh, LH Cloudy finds one. They're going to get stunned as well. No worries. Flame strike through all of them. Additional damage from Ripper as well, sending out that orb. Very, very clean wipe. You can tell the prowess of both these teams. Their ultimate economy usage is just absolutely stellar. Only one ultimate committal there from Gigantti. They've still got the barrier, they've still got the coalescence, and even the grav.
And that may have looked like the prowess of LH Cloudy, but let me assure you that was a duel between Master and Crusade. Master managed to win out the speed boost war. He put LH Cloudy behind the shield of fusions, and there wasn't time for Crusade to react.
Big Graviton Surge, instant coalescence from both sides. LH Cloudy already finds Crusade, and Fusion's going to fall to Davin. Coalescence still marching on, but Team Gigantti, they're marching stronger. Happy Cool goes for a quick reset. They've got 1 minute and 40 seconds left, Legday. They've got a couple of ultimates in the bank, but they're going to have to make these stick.
And Davin's got all the charge he could ever want. He's currently sitting at 50 just between fights, and he's got 2 barriers to top it up. There it is, 71% ready for him. Master's going to be the only ult on the board with the exception of Nil with a Riptire. These have been so effective thus far. He can try and hunt down Craigie, and it's already coming out. It's going to come from the top.
Another Riptire. It is high ground. Are they going to be able to find enemy? Craggy this time gets his revenge, finally. I wonder if he meleeed it right at the end. We'll have to wait and see. Craggy still has that Graviton Surge. Fusion moving in. He finds the back line, moves straight past LH Cloudy. Graviton is going to get eaten. Oh no! Craggy. Oh no, he didn't get eaten. He didn't actually throw it out. Craggy.
It was a
Craggy
bait.
did
It was
manage
a
to get it.
fantastic
The
bait.
ethical bait as well. Does manage to get 2 members in the self-destruct. LH Cloudy move forwards. Couldn't use the shatter, and the shatter from Fusions was all too well. They haven't even need to get the last point here, Legday. They can just move around this corner, and it might just be said and done.
You know it's a good bait when it tricks us as well. And now it's Fusions at the start. It's going to be the defensive line for his team, but here comes the storm of Gigantti.
Riptire gets killed by Nil, but Happy Cool's already found RCK. There's the hammer, he finds under the cart, but the sound barrier is going to chuck up a lot of that damage. Big Graviton Surge hits 4 people, but the sound barrier is doing all the work for them. British Hurricane still have that coalescence going on. Nil somehow finds another Riptire in all of that. How is this guy building up ult so quickly? But he gets killed by Kib yet again. How's this guy tracking his ult so cleanly? A meter left to go. The whole Hog's churning through, and British Hurricane, they find the second point, and they take Numbani.
Gigantti, they didn't check for weather report, and there was a hurricane. They didn't check the objective either because it went straight in while there were so many people up, and you got to be kicking yourself if you are Gigantti right now, Jaws. So close, it came down to the tank battles, but eventually, Craigie baited so well. He baited us as well.
Oh, no, he's grabbed, but he actually just right-clicked in the back and the... Oh, God. And Nil's tires, both of them got destroyed by Kib at the end there as well. That could have been absolutely game-changing. That could have been Gigantti taking Numbani, but these games are shaping up to be very, very close.
And once again, it will be Gigantti picking the map as we go into Assault. Is it going to be Horizon? Is it going to be Hanamura? We'll have to wait to find out, I'm afraid.
Oh, that's a big question, actually, as well, because we've seen a lot of Horizon over today. In fact, it's been Horizon twice in a row. Now, do they do that and actually, you know, swip up the tanks a little bit there? LH Cloudy's got something to say. We're going to actually jump to a quick break, guys. We're going to take a breather, and we'll see you guys in a minute.